Cameras, you guys let us know when you're ready. All right, we've got our senior offensive assistant, Coach Brian Bohannon here, and we'll hope our right up for questions for Coach Bo.
Brian, could you run us through how you ended up behind the podium there? We saw you last, I guess it was last summer over here, or before the bowl game, I guess. What has transpired since then?
Well, I mean, obviously, I'm honored and appreciative and excited to even be here to be back at the podium again at Georgia Tech. I mean, obviously, was here before, and very appreciative of the opportunity. Coach Key reached out after the previous institution. Some things went there. He reached out. I came down to practice, and I mean, the first thing I said is, Coach, I just love to have the opportunity to learn and grow from what you guys are doing here. And it took a little bit of time, but obviously it worked out where I could come learn and grow and be a part of a great staff and a great time to be at Georgia Tech for Georgia Tech football. And it's been really good. Now, the senior offensive assistant piece, the senior piece, I found out I'm the oldest in the room. So I think that's why a part of that's the way it is. But I'm in there on offense. I'm learning. I'm working with Coach McKenzie, who's a phenomenal coach, a great leader of men, all the above. And I told the offensive staff the other day, every day I'm in there learning and growing from everybody there. So that's how it really transpired, and awful excited to have the opportunity.
What have been your impressions of this program the last couple months that you've been around it?
Well, I'll be honest with you, even before, you could see the change here in the way they were playing and the way they went about their business. I think that was very evident from an outsider's view. I'm a big guy about being tough, being physical, playing hard, and those are the kind of the pillars of Coach Key's program here. So that enticed me, and you see that when you watch him play. So then you want to get in, and as a coach, you're always learning the different ways you can go about doing that. So I think to get here and be a part of that, and obviously Coach Key does a great job. I think the players, they love him, they respect him, they play for him, and it's a great staff. And I think they have a culture that's really positive right now for the things that Coach wants. I think everybody's all in. Everybody's bought into what's going on here, and I think that's really critical to success. And I think they've done a great job of that. So I think it's it's obviously people talk about it. It's a program on the rise, but they're doing some really good things that you want to get in and learn from.
Kelly.
What are maybe some things you notice and similarities and differences between Coach Johnson and Coach Key, having spent a little bit of time here now over the last 4 or 5 months?
There's probably more similarities than you would imagine. I mean, like the style of play, the way they want to go about doing things is very similar. And it is very much a program-oriented thing. It's not just one facet or the other. They want to be tough. He's going to do that. He's going to make sure that's the right way, and they play hard. So those are the things that I think are similarities. And he's not afraid to, when it's time to speak, and he's not afraid to do that. Coach Johnson wasn't either, right? But I think that's just when he's got to assert himself and make sure that the standard is the standard and things are done the way that he would like them done. So there, definitely schematically there's some differences. There's some things they do differently, but really culturally there's a lot of similarities in what they're trying to get accomplished.
Go Luke and then Reggie.
Yeah, Coach, how would you kind of describe the transition for you going into a role that really specializes on one side of the ball as opposed to running an entire program?
Yeah, it's different. It's like I told my wife, I don't know how to explain it to you. It's different. It's been really good, but it's been different. Obviously, you're in charge for 11 years, and then you kind of move to a different role where you're learning. And you want to listen. You want to make sure you say the right thing, you do the right thing. I have so much respect for everybody here and how they do things. You want to make sure you do it the right way, and I think that's the unique piece of it. And finding that spot. It's like the first day I got here, I'm like, we're going into a staff meeting. I'm like, where do I sit? I'm not going to say anything. I'm going to make sure we do the right thing here because you want to, I have so much respect for everything that goes on here. So that's probably the biggest differences. Great group of people here. I think that's the key component, great group. Coach Faulkner, the offensive staff have been awesome.
Hey, Coach, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Good.
Good to see you again.
Good to see you. Good to see you. It's interesting because you said that the first thing you said to Coach Key was like, I just want to come in and learn. It feels interesting to me because, like, as a former head coach, it's like you would think you would come in and be like, oh, I want to kind of run the charge. Where does that kind of come from you? That idea of just like, I want to just come in and learn and just help out this group that that you'd seen from afar.
Well, I think in this profession you have these unique opportunities, right? And as I've talked to different people and there's a lot of people been in this situation, right? I'm not the first, nor will I be the last. You take these opportunities to grow and learn. There's a lot of different ways to do things. There's a lot of different ways to go about things. And I think what a better way to learn and grow from a program that obviously I've been at before that I have a lot of respect for. But I think that's, you got to kind of take that mode, and it has been. I mean this, like every day I'm learning something from somebody within this program. Whether it could be overarching, it could be schematically, it could be coaching style, all the above. And there's more notes on that for me. And I've told Coach Key, I said, like, when you get some more time, you and I are going to sit down because there's some things I want to take. Because I think as a guy who wants to be a head coach again, hopefully, you want to say, all right, I'm going to go learn some things I can do better to help us be better, right? And I think at the end of the day, you're all trying to learn and grow. And whether you're 54 years old or you're 28 years old or whatever it is, I think every day and every moment's a learning moment and a growth moment.
Coach, good to see you.
Yeah, you too.
Tell me just how much does Brent have your ear? Are you willing to give him advice? Are you bouncing ideas off each other? Because I know he has the respect for you. You've been there.
Yeah.
How much is your communication?
Well, if Coach Key wants to bounce something, and a lot of times it might just be, I know for a head coach, like, what you want to do, but you got to talk your way through it. You know what I mean? But that would be based on Coach Key. Like if he stops by and say, hey, you got a minute, I'm going to go in there. Other than that, probably not going in there. I'll go in and say hello and speak and say, Coach, hey, I walk in, I'm like, Coach, I don't have a problem. I'm good. Because most of the time when somebody goes in his office, they got a problem or something's wrong. I said, Coach, I got no problems. I'm good. Just saying hello. Just saying hello. You know what I mean? Because usually when you're in that office, right, you're dealing with a lot of the stuff, right? And I just said, Coach, I'm good. I don't need anything. Just want to stop by and say hello. But he does a great job. And anytime I can listen, I'll be glad to listen because I know I get that. But I think he's got a pretty good handle on the direction he's going and what he wants to do. And again, it goes back to, for me, I'm just here to help. Anything I can do to help, I want to do that, and I want to be helpful to the program, and I want to continue to learn myself.
Anything else for Coach Bo?
How different is it here from 12, 13, whatever it was years ago, just in terms of even locker room, that you have, I think, 3 times as many personnel on the coaching staff and all of that. There was maybe like 20 of you, and now there's 50. Like, just what is the difference like in just the operations of being at Georgia Tech now compared to before?
It's obviously very different. You just mentioned several things. I laugh when I got the first offensive group text. I'm like, God dang, they got more people in this group text than I had in the whole building at my previous institution. So I think that's grown, which is something that I think is very positive. All the support. I think that Coach Key and the administration here is built around this program to give them a chance to be successful. I think that's probably the most noticeable thing. And then there's a lot of steel beams right next door that are really noticeable too, right? Obviously having the opportunity to have a state-of-the-art facility here, I think is huge. So those are the things that are noticeable. And I think he's got this thing surrounded to be one of those premier, Power 4 programs, which I know is what Georgia Tech aspires to be.
Anything else? Coach Bohannon, thank you.
All right, thank y'all. Appreciate it.